All right, perfect. I can see guys are following. So, tomorrow, or rather this week, tomorrow being a Monday, we don't have anything for the dollar. So it's gonna be a bank holiday for the yen, that is the Japanese yen. On Tuesday, we have CB consumer confidence at 6 p.m. during the New York session, 6 p.m. Kenyan time. On Wednesday, we have Audi CPI during the Asian session. That's around 3:30 a.m. in the morning. And then on Thursday, we're gonna have unemployment claims and prelim GDP for the US dollar at around 8:30 New York time or the US time. That's around 4:30 Kenyan time PM. Then on Friday, we wrap our week by having the Germany prelim CPI. Then later in the New York session, we're gonna have GDP for the Canadian dollar. Then we close our week with core PCE price index for the dollar at New York session. That's what we have in our economic calendar for this week. So maybe we might not have really much moves, but we're going to have probably nice setup. The work of a trader is very simple. Yours is just to, your work is just analyze the market, wait for the setup to mature, calculate your risk, then execute that trade. And once you get to your target, you're out of the trade. As simple as that. So maybe I will go to the technical part of it. For those who are in this session last week, we had said that we are anticipating the dollar to drop. We were bullish. We were bearish on dollar, and then we're gonna be buying later on. If you check on what happened, personally, I'm gonna give you reasons. I'm anticipating for the dollar to start pushing probably high from this zone, right? So I'll give you reasons. Number one, technically, if you go to in fact, where the market is seated at is an area of liquidity. And I think I need to use monthly time frame so that, we are about to end the month. I think monthly time frame will do better. So if you go to the monthly time frame and you look at what is happening here, there's something I want us to see. This is more of a flip zone. This is more of a flip area because at this particular zone, we have what we call, we have some type of liquidity that caused price to drop from this zone all the way to the down. And then later on, the momentum kicked in, the market bought massively. So if you look at the previous month candlestick, it formed as it took out the I think this is a December candlestick, took out price level up, came down, then we have this bearish drop. So if you use the aspect of different types of liquidity, if you come and check at this area, we have an overlap of the candlestick. So that means this is a zone of liquidity. If you probably go to the daily time frame, you'll see that clearly. So this is going to act as my flip zone, or rather my liquidity flip area. So I'm anticipating for the dollar to react from this side and buy, aiming maybe above 11 price level. Are we guys following? Now, if you check on the daily time frame, you can clearly see that price tried to form a liquidity, a structure at this zone. This is some sort of liquidity inducement. So the market, probably price is coming here and then, but there's also a likelihood, or there's a possibility of the market even reacting from where we are and continue buying. So in short, what I'm trying to say, for this coming week, a few days, I'm bullish on dollar. So I think it's simple as that on the dollar. So let's go to a few pairs that I have on my watch list. Let's just check out a few pairs that I have on my watch list. So I'm gonna start with you can start with USD/JPY. I think it has a very nice swing setup that is maturing. Okay, think I used forex.com. All right. Now, if you look at USDJPY on the monthly time frame, don't worry with all these lines. I was trying to explain something. I need to remove some of them. I was explaining some concepts to some people. Do I really need to delete this? But I'll come back here. But let me use a different broker so that I don't want to delete those. So guys, I also need you to be aware that sometimes the broker you use, especially those guys when you try to trade mostly liquidity, know that the broker you use matters a lot. Like there's a setup ahead. If you check on when you do your analysis using FXM, you could have missed an entry. But if you use forex.com, you go to the entry. Like there's a trade ahead. I think it was maybe before you talk about GBP, I mean USDJ. Is this trade called GBP USD? I was looking for some nice sells. It was a short-term sell. Let me show you. It was if you check on FXM, my entry point was around 10.74. Was it? Let me go check. Yes. Yes, if you look at this, the setup is this one. I have a long position. So this setup, if you use a different broker, you will not get it. The entry was based on the concept of we have some type. This was some type type two liquidity. Yes, this is type 2 liquidity. Those guys who understand what I'm talking about. The sell was around 10 pips. I'm targeting this area, 1.26050. Probably you might have some nice buys here, but I'm going to also break down GBP USD. Let me talk about USD JPY and then I'll come back here. So on the USD JPY, the monthly time frame, the reason as why I don't like these other brokers, these things of gaps sometimes can confuse you. So let me just hide the drawings. Then I will come back to, I will bring them back now. If you look at the monthly time frame, just scribble, then I'll show you. If you look at the monthly time frame, where price is at the moment, it's a very nice zone because we have a very strong area of liquidity. First, starting from the above, we have type 1 liquidity here. Type 1 liquidity, guys, what always happen? Before the market maybe sells, the last candlestick that people maybe say is identify it as an order block. Before the market sells, the candlestick, the wick of the selling candlestick must react above the wick of the bullish, the previous bullish candlestick before price goes down. And then the bullish candlestick, it must close again inside that bearish candlestick. So we call it type 1 area of liquidity. So how do you get your entries on type 1 area of liquidity? So with the aspect of time frame coordination, from monthly time frame, we go to the daily time frame. And then for the aspect of refinement, we use 1 hour. If the risk is so high, you can go all the way to 15 minutes. I think that is simple as that. Now, on this area of liquidity, probably if you draw a line here, price reacted at the flip zone, but I'm anticipating later on the market will come here and then maybe give us a nice, if the sellers or if the buyers will have crazy momentum, then it will break this zone and go higher. But if the sellers will be exhausted, I mean buyers will be exhausted at this particular zone, then we know very well you're going to get some nice buys. All right. Now, at the current market, the current structure that we have on the daily time frame, I mean on the monthly time frame, we have this type 1. We have this type 1 area of liquidity. If you look at how this candlestick reacted, you realize that we had a bullish candlestick reacting. The wick of the bullish candlestick reacted below the wick of the bearish candlestick, and then this candlestick closed inside that candle, which means this zone is a very strong zone for us to look for sells. I mean, for us to look for buys. If you use the aspect of time frame coordination, probably for those guys who understand what I'm talking about, you could have gotten an entry on Friday because you're supposed to have an entry at 149.203. Guys, can you guys hear me? Use the chat section, right? Use the chat section to comment so that I know if you're together. You can type 1177 or anything so that I know if you're together. Now, on this USD JPY, let me summarize it by saying this. I'm looking for buys. I'm looking for buys at this zone because of the type 1 area of liquidity. Now, if you go to from monthly time frame, I think now I can bring back my drawings and then I explain that. Now, if you go to the red lines represent the monthly area of liquidity, and then the green line represent anyway. I can just try to do it. So we have we go to the daily time frame, maybe we'll get enough information. So if you check, I was trying to explain something. That's why I have a lot of, can as well delete everything. Okay, so let me just do it very fast for us. So this is our area of liquidity, monthly time frame, type 1 area of liquidity. So when you're drawing it, you put your line at the FMD, the furthermost deviation. That is where your stop loss should be. But based on the broker you're using, you should at least give an extra of 2 or 3 pips extra from that zone. So if you draw it like this, I think I'll change the colors. And today we have a very big game, but anyway, wacha tung'ang'ane tumalize mkutano. So, so this is type 1 area of liquidity. If I go to daily time frame coordination, we come back here. Inside the monthly area of liquidity, the red line hapa juu na chini, it represents the monthly area of liquidity, talking about this zone and this area. So we put our line at the FMD, furthermost deviation. Now, inside this monthly area of liquidity, on the daily time frame, we have type 3. Type 3 area of liquidity, we must have either 3 candles of the same color, either bullish or bearish, and then one of the candlestick must react. One of the candlestick must react below one of the candle. Like in this case, if you look at this candlestick here, this one is a bullish candlestick, bullish, bullish. Then if you look at this candlestick reacted below the wick of the first bullish candlestick. And then later on, the market closed inside or above. If you look at this, the body tried to close above that zone. Now, when you're looking for an entry, you can use the aspect of liquidity engineering. When I was doing my refinement, my entry is supposed to be at I think it is 149. Let us see. It's supposed to be a liquidity flip. So I'll use black for entry. So my entry is supposed to be at 149.203. When it comes to Forex, you must be smart. You can just figure out a way on how to, yes. That's where my entry is supposed to be at this particular area. If I go to 1 hour, you will see, let me just show you. If you go to 1 hour, oh goodness, I think that line, something I did. I think I need to make it visible across those time frames. So if I also go, hold on. So if you go to H1, 1 hour time frame, you realize that that zone, I want you guys to see something. You've seen how we refined it. We have this is normal. Okay, if you see the momentum from this zone, it's more of like a flip. If you see the momentum from this zone, it's more of a flip. Price is coming to react on a flip. But again, if you go to the further side of the screen, you realize that we have the normal liquidity engineering. I'm talking about normal liquidity engineering. It's this one here. So if you measure but my entry mainly is based on the aspect of liquidity flip. That's why my sell will be not more than, if I use the normal liquidity of engineering, SL yangu itakuwa huku chini and it's gonna be a lot of pips, only 50. But based on what we call liquidity flip, my stop loss will be around 28 pips. And again, if you check again upper, we also have type 1. This gives me much confidence that this is a very nice zone to hold USD JPY to the upside. So that's why if now you have an entry, it's supposed to be, we now refine it and have our SL somewhere here. I think I'll make this is one now. I'll make it also black. So that, and then this one, it's supposed to be somewhere there. So if you measure the pips, you see it's around 20. I always say a stop loss of around 15 pips to 20 pips is not bad. So that is around 22 pips. So if you go further now, we go back to where the price of USD JPY is. The market is here. If you look at how price reacted. So I want you guys to kiangalia how last week. So you could have gotten actually your entry here. You could have gotten your entry. Let's see. Oh, okay. Prices reacted on that zone. So that simply means what we can do for this coming week, once the market opens, we need to look for liquidity flow. We need to get a liquidity flow confirmation, and then we can get an entry around this zone. But even if you put your entry right now where price is, so long as your stop loss is below, let me show you. This entry was supposed to be found on Friday. So if you can have your entry anywhere here, if you can have your entry anywhere, and then maybe you have an SL of, then you have an SL of around 26 pips, you're safe. But the safest way is confirmation. Wait for the market to open, go to lower time frame, get a liquidity flow confirmation, and then get your entry with that. Once the market triggers our entry, which will have on Friday, we're going to aim, going to target the extreme area of liquidity. But you go as you take partials. The extreme area of liquidity is supposed to give us around 700 pips. So it's we target the extreme area of liquidity, or rather flip zone. So we have this one here. And but now you go as you take TP1, TP2 based on how the structure of the market behaves. So like these are zone to take and take profit, another zone to take and take profit, then we have this other zone. So you use the first, if you're using the daily, now you use 1 hour as your constant, I mean your second situational time frame to be able to take profit 1, profit 2 as you go on, based on how the structure will be behaving. If the market is forming a structure like this, sorry, let me do it right. The market is forming a structure like this, we know very well we're going up, but if it forms any shift in between, you need to be smart. But those shifts that happen, they should be around the areas of liquidity. So that is on USD JPY. So I'm aiming to buy all the way at Yuko. Those guys who are in the premium Discord server, I'll be sharing the exact entry level so that we ride with that. It's gonna be a very nice setup. After area 1 to 10 hapa, you're done. That is on USD JPY. So let me talk about which other pair. Let's look at GJ. Then I'll talk about gold. GJ. Where is GJ? GBP JPY. If you look at GBP JPY, so that I don't waste much time, we had type 1 area of liquidity here. Okay, let me start with monthly so that we can get things clearly. I'll be having some nice swing trades at around 184, 870, 873 there. So if you look at GJ, number one, from the above, this is type 1 liquidity. If you have gotten the concept, this type 1 liquidity. So as much as price is selling, if you look at the aspect of liquidity consumption, if you look at price action at this area, the market formed something like this. This candlestick, the bearish candlestick that was coming here was just coming to consume liquidity and then goes up. This push also was coming to consume liquidity at this zone. So the last area that we have for liquidity to be considered is this area. You see this area? This is our area of liquidity that we need to consider so that price can be supported to go up. I think that is clear. Now, from the monthly time frame, if you go to the daily time frame, guys, if you're in this meeting, kindly make sure your mic is muted, so that we don't have distraction. Kindly, if you're in a noisy place, just mute your mic so that we have we don't have distraction. Then another thing, this meeting is going to end in the next 9 minutes. So once the meeting ends, I will allow the next 20 minutes. We wrap it up. So just click on the link and come back if it goes off. So we have 9 minutes to go before we end this first part of the analysis. So on the pound Japanese yen, so the area that we are focusing on to come back is this level, then maybe we'll later on sell. But if the momentum will be strong enough, we might break this zone and go up. But I believe we might be looking for sales from that zone. Now, for this coming week, I've been bearish for a couple of weeks on GJ. So with the aspect of time frame coordination, so I've already told you guys the last area of liquidity that we are looking onto is this particular area. Let me use some thick lines. This long wick, I think I'll make the colors to be thick and different so that you see the point. So that's zone and this zone. So this is my area of liquidity that I need to, I want first of all price to come and fully consume liquidity that is left, and then I'll be looking for buys. Now, if I go back to daily time frame, let me check on weekly time frame if you have anything serious. Perfect. Actually, okay, I'll talk about that. Let me go first on the daily time frame. If you go on the daily time frame, you realize the last area that we had, sellers coming in is around this point. As I actually have that. You can clearly see what the reason also actually I'll be having those buys. If you go to weekly time frame, we have type 1. We have type 1 liquidity, which is here. We have type 1 liquidity, this area. This type 1 liquidity. So we'll use 4 hours time frame for coordination and refinement. So that is weekly, so that we can get. So that means we were gonna, if you look at the trend from the upside, the market is forming a bullish, a bearish structure. So it's coming to facilitate, but to consume this liquidity here, and then we buy. So that simply means, let me show you. If this is a weekly time frame, this is weekly time frame. Just want us to use this zone to refine so that I show you how I got this entry. So I'll put my line here, then I'll put the other line at the FMD so that we get a refinement. If you go to 4 hours time frame, we're looking for either flips, liquidity engineering, or anything else that can give us a confirmation. So if you check on that area of liquidity, what we have, our entry is based on the normal. Our entry is based on the normal liquidity engineering, which is here. If you go further to 30 minutes, that's why we have that refinement at 184,876. So this is my FMD. I don't really have any other business. But if this setup fails, now the last zone I'll focus on is around 183, 183,724, I will be looking for buys from that zone. So if you go to 30 minutes and see what else we have, but if you measure the entry level that I have, okay, we'll have 5 more minutes to go before the link goes off. If you go to 30 minutes, on 4 hours, the entry is based on normal liquidity engineering. If you go to 30 minutes, the entry is based on liquidity flip. I hope that is clear, because this momentum candlestick is the candlestick that took out liquidity flip. Is simply or generally it means a failed liquidity engineering. So that means that is it. So if the market will continue selling, we're going to have our entries. We're going to have some long-term kind of bullish push. So which means the market will be pushing. The market will be pushing. You have to understand the structure, because if tukianza kuja huku juu pia tuko na a lot of things hapa ndani. If I go to 4 hours, there is a shift that was seen clearly. Price has not traded above this zone, so which means we'll get some nice entries here, collect a few pips. Then if you just measure the risk to reward ratio, or rather the RR, even if you target this extreme point huku juu, because price haijai kuja huku pia, kuna type kwa weekly time frame tuko na type 1, so hiyo ni 1300 pips. So if you are patient enough, you can hold on this trade, so long as you take partials so that you can hold. So if you're patient enough, you can hold this trade all the way up to that. If the market continue giving us confirmation, our last take profit will be around 2,128. These are a trade that you can hold up to, I think around you can hold up to 3 months if you have the guts. Not everyone can be able to hold there. So that's why I always tell people, have different accounts. Have accounts for swinging and have accounts for day trading and all that, so that you take it as an investment. Once the trade comes, you're good to go. Remember, the monthly candlestick is about to close, so this could be a very nice zone to buy from. So for this week, we will continue selling. This week we'll continue selling. So once the market opens, probably you're going to look for any reason that can give us sales. If I look at the current structure, this could be a flip zone, 189.115, but you don't just enter anyhow. So in short, I'm still bearish on GJ. But I'm bearish to come and target my entry at this particular area. Then you're good to go. That is on GJ. So now let me talk about which other pair. I think I need to talk about GBP/USD, Euro USD. Then I will finalize with gold. Gold will be the last pair. Before we have 2 minutes before this meeting ends, then we join back. Is there anyone who has a question or maybe anything you want to say before we move to other pairs? Anyone?
Excuse me?
Yes.
I think EJ is behaving like GJ, they're all selling.
Yeah, sure. Euro JPY. Let me check it out. I think I also had some bias on that. Hold on. So tuangalie Euro JPY. I need to remove these lines. But I'll be tomorrow during the London session. I'll be dropping some setups later on for day trading. But for swings, we will wait up till prices at 184. Euro JPY. Euro JPY. The broker that doesn't have gaps is always forex.com. That's why I always like using it. Guys, anytime you open your charts, a secret that will help you for directional bias is the secret is your monthly time frame will always give you clarity. So if you look at the trend, we've been bullish. But from above here, we have type 1 liquidity. So which means, then if you look at the current zones, The meeting is ending right now, so let's just join back. Then we go on.